Welcome to the Good Pod, where today we're talking Elsbeth, Season 3, Episode 11, Old Man Liver. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, the one, the only Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I'm good, Jason. Especially like those pipes. Where'd they come from? You good?
I'm not classically trained, but you wouldn't know it if you just heard that. Marissa, before you officially get started, I probably should have brought this up in the pre-show, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
so
where is it going?
how how's your systems all good, like everything inside's nice and working? Do you maybe
Oh,
like how's
oh,
your gallbladder these days? Like,
oh.
just check it.
Mine is okay. Mine is
Okay.
okay. How about
Okay.
you? How are you?
Not great,
Oof.
honestly.
Oof.
So I'm just like, have you taken a look at your Good Pod contract lately?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
Let
that's
me
good.
whip
That's
that.
good.
Let me whip
No, no,
that.
no, no. You don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to. I'm just glad that you signed stuff without reading it.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
But
I
listen,
mean,
if you can just like keep that gallbladder going for like
okay.
a bit,
For
and
you.
you know what, Marissa, it occurred to me that I have not visited you in Chicago.
It's
Maybe
true.
maybe I'll come visit you. For no reason at all.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And maybe check in on the gallbladder. I mean you,
Are you
and
saying that like maybe our biometric data are in our microphones and we need to switch microphones?
yeah, it could be. It really could be. So, yeah, I'll just waltz on over to Chicago, visit you and the golf. I mean, just you, and
Mhm.
see what we can do. See
Can't
what
wait to
we
see
can
it,
do.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope I can safely get some of the things I have over across state lines, because I got a present for you. I
Oh, that's
got
so
something good
nice.
for you. Yep.
Wow, thank you.
Something that's really heart stopping, if you know what I mean. Like, I think you're really gonna enjoy it.
And seed.
And scene. We're back. Our long Olympics hiatus has come and gone.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, the Olympics is only 2 weeks. Elsbeth has been gone for like months
Well,
at
it
this
was
point.
like the holidays and then the Olympics.
Yeah, they're just like, I'll just put it all into one. So it's been a minute since we've graced the Elsbeth podcast, and since Elsbeth has graced our podcast feed. Let me just say
Yeah.
that. So, listen, good to be back. I missed
Mhm.
Elsbeth.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And we came back to an interesting episode. Elsbeth loves to discover different worlds, and this was the world of biohacking, which weirdly is something I need to look into, because my organs aren't doing great right now. So maybe I should have taken some better notes. But here we are with Elsbeth doing her Elsbeth thing.
Yeah, I feel like the show has now kind of given Elsbeth like free reign. Like I don't even know what her title is. I don't know what her role is in the precinct. She's just Elsbeth. Like she's
And
just running around being Elsbeth.
and
And
and she's just like finding cases of like she has nothing better to do than to like
yeah.
just discover cases on her own, of like, oh, like this is interesting, let me pursue this. Like, aren't you supposed to be like like looking at active investigations? She's literally butting into an investigation that was not opened, like was not a current homicide case. She's just like, oh, let me see what this is about. You got nothing better to do? Like, there's no other homicide crime in New York.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I know we've talked about this throughout the course of the season because it's kind of been like a redesign of this entire show, basically,
Mhm.
this season. And I know we'll never get the tell all, and I know that I'm like creating so many things in my head, but I'm like,
Mhm.
is it the CBS effect? Is it the like what is it that is really kind of giving us this totally different show? There are still like Elsbeth elements in here.
Yeah.
Like Elsbeth is Elsbeth. However, it's just not as deep of stuff that I'm used to seeing from the character. So I'm just letting listeners know, like that's where I'm at. Like this is definitely a very surface level show for me now. It's not necessarily like as deep and discussive for me as
Mhm.
other properties within this universe.
It's definitely a paint by numbers show,
Yeah.
and the fact that we cover this and The Good Wife together at the same time is very like telling of like where we see the good wife that has complex stories, complex characters, and then we get Elsbeth that's like a way very very much on the lighter side of things, not getting too deep into stuff. I think it's a very much a different tone,
And
for
I
sure.
mean, I think that's a reflection of the times. I think
Mhm.
that, like, I'm not saying that there isn't a place for the show in the world. I'm just saying it's just different than what I would expect. Like, if Elsbeth were announced today,
Mhm.
like, I would have a different idea of what the show would be than
Interesting.
what we're getting.
Interesting.
Um,
But before we
Only
dive, go
it's
ahead.
Elsbeth. Only
Yeah,
because it's
it's
Elsbeth.
Elspeth. It's Elspeth. Before we dive too deep into the case, I want to remind you of some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, subscribing, wherever it is you are watching and are listening. It really helps to get our podcast in the eyes and ears of more listeners and watchers. If you want to just chop it up with us about anything, any and everything, you can email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. If you want to donate some funds, maybe help me buy a new gallbladder, you can donate some money to us over at Buy Me a Coffee. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod, that is where our page is. You can donate funds, small or large, if you so choose.
Yes, and we appreciate all of your support in all of the forms, in all of it's like, we're all organs in the same system supporting the good
Yeah,
pod, you know?
yeah,
Something like that.
exactly.
Well, let's get into the case of the week. In this case, we are dealing with Archer Kupnik. Kupnik? Kopanik. Kupnik? Kopanik? It's a choose your own
You
adventure.
say Kupanik, I say Kopanik.
It's like one of those. One of those. And Archer is played by Hamish Linklater, who, Jason, you reminded me, is already a member of the Goodverse cast.
Yes, but of course, as they like to do with the good wife and Elsbeth, they have reskinned the actor to make them a different character. So we saw him on the Good Wife as I think it was a treasury officer for Chicago for the
Something like that.
feds or
Yeah.
something. He was trying to bust Eli on some corruption charges, to basically get to Peter over on the Good Wife. So he played a very different character over there. He was very kooky. Um,
He
he
played
was
the
like,
accordion.
yeah, he played the accordion. He was the kooky henchman to the ultimate kooky boss in Kyle MacLachlan, who was later like introduced to kind of take over the case, and he was even kookier than Hamish Linklater was as a character. So yeah, we are familiar with him. You may also remember him from New Adventures of Old Christine. That's a comic from back in the day. I saw him recently in the newest season of Gen V, where he played like a very scary like killer. Like big
Ooh.
villain. So he was great in that. So yeah, he's been around the block. So he's here on Elsbeth doing the guest star routine of of the year. He's doing that rotation.
And he's definitely playing a character that's around these days, a hyper wealthy biohacker who has built his entire life around never aging. You've heard of this guy, right? Like there is the
Oh
guy.
yeah, I was surprised this guy didn't have a podcast.
Agreed. Agreed. The only problem here with Archer is his liver. He damaged it through his party years and keeps throwing off his cellular age numbers. I cannot. We will always find something new to optimize. You know what I mean? Like we
Hmm.
can't just be healthy. We have to be healthy plus
Yes.
plus, healthy, all of these things. And it seems like Archer is very not okay with having, average cellular age numbers. Not
Hmm.
acceptable to him. And he meets a guy named Tyler who comes in, who was basically just cutting his lawn, who he somehow coerced into being his a trainer slash assistant. And
Now
Tyler ends up dead.
Tyler, it was interesting because Tyler shows up and Tyler's like, "Hey, like I need some ice," and like lifts up his shirt. Like I thought maybe they should have gotten like a much more jacked like actor. I was like, I mean, this guy's okay, but he's not like the
Well, there was
leanest, meanest
definitely
guy.
an up and down from Archer there, right? Like he
Yeah,
definitely looked him up and down and was like, "Hey."
it was feeling weird for a minute. I was like, what are we
Yeah,
doing here?
I had no idea where this was going to go. But he ended up being his trainer and assistant and then ends up dying officially by a stroke. The guy is only 22 years old, and Elspeth learns of the story and is not buying it. She is tipped off by a guy named Cord, who is in the office or in the precinct turning him or basically getting processed because he broke into a donor registry, because ever since he got his heart transplant, he's been having nightmares. And so he wanted to find out if his donor was murdered. This guy, Gord, was very familiar to me. I was like, hey, it's
I
that guy.
figured he would be. When I saw what he was in, I was like, oh, Marissa's gonna know who this guy is. Danny Jollis, my crazy ex-girlfriend person. That's probably where you know him best from.
And,
Hacks as
and
well. I was like, I've seen this guy somewhere, and then I was like, oh yeah, he's like one of the writers on the like last season of Hacks.
yes.
That's like a really like goofy, weird, awkward guy. So I was like, oh yeah, that's where I know him from.
Yes. And have you heard of this phenomenon about like how memories and things like distaste and stuff can be passed down through organ transplants?
I have never heard of this. This is a new thing for me. Uh, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm like, that's kind of creepy and weird. I would probably before like they'd be like, okay, Jason, we have a new gallbladder for you. I would be like, can I like get all the background on who this gallbladder belonged to? Like, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but like I appreciate it. But I would like to know if I'm going to be having any like terrible nightmares because the person's gallbladder came from. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I need some info.
I don't think it's been documented to go that extreme as nightmares, but there will be people who are like, I loved the color red before my transplant. And then they're like, no
Yeah,
more.
that would make sense if you had cravings that the original recipient had. Like the original recipient really loves chocolate ice cream. It's like, oh my god, I never was into chocolate ice cream, but now I can't go without chocolate ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That was a bad comparison because I feel like everybody loves chocolate ice cream. Like
there are
I
some
feel like
people that don't. Like, I don't understand them,
yes.
but there are people that don't. I don't understand. If you are, please do let us know.
Mhm.
What is it about chocolate ice cream? Is it
What's your
chocolate in
damage? What's
general?
wrong with you?
Is this yeah, like I really please talk to your therapist about it.
Yeah, because I mean, come on, it's one of the best inventions that's ever been.
So good. So good. So Elsbeth takes Cord very seriously and goes with him to a transplant recipient support group. Now, I thought this was going to be a support group of just like general people that have like received organ transplants, but it was a support group for people who specifically got Tyler's organs.
Yeah, I think that's a nice little thing, right? Like, because I think we've seen before, in different media about people meeting up with loved ones, people that receive their loved ones,
Yeah.
organs to like feel closer to the person that died. We kind of see that at the end of this episode. But yeah, it was interesting because they had all the little name tags, like, oh, I'm the pancreas, I'm the kidneys, I'm the I'm the this or that. So it was a fun little thing. I think it would be a good thing to come together as like this person saved our life, like or saved our lives.
I think it's a beautiful way to keep the person's memory around as well. Like, I think it's cool that it didn't necessarily involve Tyler's family. It was like just them on their
Yeah.
own. And I did enjoy the name tags. That was also
Mhm.
funny. But the only person missing from this party, Jason, was Tyler's liver.
The
And
lungs were also missing. The
oh, and
lungs
look,
were missing.
the lungs
I
didn't
love
make
that.
it though. The lungs didn't make it.
The lungs didn't make it. And I was like, oh my god. Oh no, he just had the kid soccer practice. Like, okay, that's funny. That's real funny. That's a good one.
But liver won't even answer the phone. Liver won't do anything like that. And that's been really suspicious for Cord.
Yeah, Liver refuses to give up his identity. He won't, and that's. I mean, I don't think that's super weird. Like, if I felt like if I was a super private person, I'd be like, I'm not. I don't really want to join your all's little party. I'm a curmudgeon, so that makes sense for me. But Archer has different reasons for not wanting his identity found
Much
out.
different reasons.
Let's talk. Let's back up a little. Let's talk about the sequence of the beginning of the episode, because again, seems like we're taking about 5 to 7 minutes in the beginning of the episode to like just get through the murder and see how the murder goes. Did you think it was a clever way to get this murder done by switching the rings?
It definitely scared me because I was like, um, now all of my health data can be used in court. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
Mm.
oh, crap and a half. That was the thing. Do I think it was smart? I thought it was definitely Yeah, I mean, it's clever. I don't know if it was worth it, but it was definitely clever.
I definitely I kind of saw the end result coming of how he's going to get caught, because it was like, how do you switch the things? Because if we look into the data, you're going to like have different data than you had like before you switched the rings.
Yeah. And he was
So
always like, we saw all these scenes of like the two of them competing against each other at all times, right? Like
mhm.
it was like, I can't believe your cellular age is better than mine or whatever, whatever. But there was a distinct difference between them. So like if they were to switch, it would be like an inverse
Yeah.
reaction right away.
So I thought that was an easy thing to get caught up on. But I thought in general like it was a good like murder, because it's like, okay, I will we'll switch the rings. I'll like hold my breath so it looks like my heart rate is spiking out of control, and and this is all incumbent on the fact that he knows there's going to be a software patch, and at
Yes.
that time there won't be any data registering, so that he can do whatever he needs to do because they won't be tracking his stuff. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty smart. Um, but I thought it was a good use of, and then he gives Tyler whatever he gave. I don't even know what that was, to cause a stroke and make this guy die. I was like, damn. And I feel like we
Well,
didn't really get too much into Archer's, well, we did get into Archer's reasoning. We kind of found out later why
yeah.
exactly he did this.
Yeah, he wanted the best numbers, and also Tyler had, trained with them, and we saw it was like several months later. Like this entire thing went from like two couple identical days later to identical months later. So Tyler
Mhm.
and Archer were together for a very, very long time, like working together, doing the exact same things at the exact same times, doing all this stuff. And one day Tyler comes to him and is like, "Hey, bro, I gotta go."
Yeah.
And Archer's just like, what do you mean you gotta go? Like, you're my guy. Like, what is this?
Tyler's like, my guy, I'm 22 years old. I want to do 22-year-old things.
And also like the reasoning of I want to have sex after 4 p.m.
Yeah.
was so like, but this is to the extent that like some people go for all this stuff, and you can tell like walking around Archer's house is like it's not, it's something only rich people can really do
Oh
because it's
yeah,
a
for sure.
very controlled environment, very very strict rules. He has a lot of support. He's got people in his house to help him. But yeah, this 22-year-old kid is like, okay, this was fun. I'm done.
Yeah, and I want they didn't really explain where Archer gets all of his money from.
Yeah, no clue.
I know he is a biohacker, but did he come up with some sort of like biohacking routine? Did he come up
Could
with
be a
some,
biohacker
is
without
he a
being like,
scientist that like got rich or something? They don't really explain that. But yeah, and Archer's like, "What do you mean, bro? What do you mean you want to leave?" And he's lecturing Tyler about, you don't want to have any beer, you don't want to do this or that. It's gonna ruin your body. And I was like, I don't care, bro. I don't care. I'll do anything to escape this like routine, mundane life that you have me up in now. And like, it's interesting because like when we first come on, we hear Archer, and I don't know what it was like. He changed his voice for this monologue that he was like, the thing about routine. So we eliminate the need for bad decisions. If we eliminate the need for decisions, so we eliminate decisions, we eliminate
well,
making bad ones.
Jason, this can definitely tie into some other coverage that you're doing at the moment because this is definitely around the world of stoicism and
Oh,
and how like making everything really simple and not making, eliminating the need to making decisions just like leads to a better life. And I know over on Love is Blind, there is definitely someone who talks about stoicism all of the time.
maybe Archer makes all his money being a part-time soccer coach and day
Maybe,
trading on the side.
maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't, and has questionable citizenship
Yeah.
situations because I don't know what's going on there. Um, but I think like this is definitely I could I could write a whole essay. Like this is, I think, tied to the men's loneliness epidemic. Like this world of biohacking is also like seen to be a pipeline to the alt-right. So you really want to like pay attention to where you're getting your health information from because it's if it's from a biohacker, definitely, read the fine print. As Tyler did not when he signed his contract, because it turns out when he signed his contract, he basically gave away all of his organs.
All of his stuff. all of his bodily stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think Tyler's job actually was though? Because I did not pick up on the trainer aspect until Archer was trying to get another trainer.
I
It
think
was
I
like,
think it was just a cover, right? Like he said he said Tyler was his trainer, which I don't know if you can be a trainer if you're kind of like it didn't seem like Tyler was training him. It just seemed like he just needed Tyler close by so he could use his blood, he could use his vital organs, he can use all of his good stuff he has in him so that because we see in the montage that you know they're playing video games together, but while they're doing that, they're either sucking blood out of Tyler and installing it into Archer. So he's pretty much a blood bag for Archer. That's what his real job is. His real job is to provide Archer with blood and organs if he so needs it. So much so that he's making Tyler do exactly the same things he is, taking exactly the same supplements, the same vitamins and minerals. So they have pretty much the same molecular structure, so that he can just keep using Tyler as an infinite supply of blood. And this is like you may think this is watch this and think this is outlandish, but these things happen. There are people that are these like vampires that take these young people, that older people that take these young people and like use them for their blood because they're convinced that if they get injected with these young people's blood, it will make them a younger version of themselves. And we see that in the most extreme sense with Archer, where he's obsessed with the numbers. He's obsessed with getting his molecular age down. Like as the doctor explains to him in the beginning, he's like, everything's great except for your ALP, which I'm assuming is connected to the liver. Your liver
mhm.
numbers are like not great, but I mean, listen, you're a 40-something-year-old man that has a molecular age of a 34-year-old. So you can't be complaining that much, right? But it's
Well,
never good enough for Archer.
and he says, the doctor says, there's only so much you can do outside of genetics. Like
Mm.
genetics are going to keep you in a lane whether you like it or not. Like this is how it's going to go. Also, another random connection to shows that are currently going on. These concierge doctors that
Mm.
are out there, um, I think are like a thing because this doctor says I needed to be here because someone can't install an IV correctly or whatever. It's very dangerous. There could be infections. And I'm like, no, this is like a nurse's job. You don't need to be there. But JD from Scrubs ended up being a concierge doctor, and Scrubs is back, and I'm so happy to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad you watched the Scrubs premiere like I did this week as well.
Yes, yes, there was such like it was like wrapping myself in a cozy blanket.
Mhm.
It was really good. Okay, but we're not talking about Scrubs. We're talking about this. It was so great to see that Officer Nikki was also on
Mhm.
this case. She apparently is standing in for giving the coroner report as opposed to seeing
Where's
our
Cam? Where's Cam?
friend. And it turns out they're saying he died of natural causes. The paramedics responded to Archer's house, so his employer, which is a little weird. And Elsbeth finds it weird that the guy died at age 23.
Yeah, she's like, well, I mean, he works for a guy that wants to extend your life, but he died at such a young age. Why?
Yes,
Why is that? What's going on there? So that already before Elsbeth has even met Archer, she's already like, Archer did it. Like, it's that the Elsbeth sense of like, okay, well, Archer is obviously the culprit here.
yes. Elsbeth goes to be the most Elsbeth she can and gets in and meets Archer. So she goes to Archer's house, and she turns out that Archer has a new trainer slash body bag slash everything
It,
doing a routine with him. And
important
she's,
to note, this is a year later. This is a year
yeah,
after Tyler is dead. So he's got a new routine with a new quote unquote trainer. Several times the long driveway gets mentioned. Like Tyler mentioned it when he first met Archer, like, oh man, your driveway is so long. And then now Elspeth again is like, oh, your driveway is so long. So I'm like, okay, the driveway is going to be important.
yes, the driveway does come into play. So it's just like seeing the protocol, right? Like in action. There's like a weird colored smoothie.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of supplements, and Archer explains that they like had to live on the same protocol, which then still raises the question of like, why did Tyler die if he was doing the protocol? And Archer's like, genetics, can't help genetics. And we learned that the ring actually called 911 based on biometrics that were going on at the time, and it realized and registered that Tyler was having a stroke.
these rings. You don't participate in the ring culture, do you?
Okay, so I did, but then when I learned that the government
Ooh,
was going to use Aura ring data specifically, I stopped because there's also a push by the new National Health RFK Junior, whatever the actual title is, that everyone will be wearing a wearable in the next X amount of years. And so, given the fact that the government is working with AI companies, just something to keep in mind when
yeesh.
you're investigating or thinking about, you know, wearables and biodata.
I am staunchly anti wearable because I just don't believe they're ever accurate. Like my wife wears an Apple Watch and she's just like, yeah, I do my exercise and my move ring, and it tells me how many calories I burned and how many steps I took. I was like, that's it's just not accurate. Like if like she cheats her move ring by
Yeah.
like doing this a bunch.
Yes.
I'm like, that's not exercise. That's like, that is not real. You're cheating the system. And if you can do that to these systems, I just don't believe they're ever really accurate.
But this isn't the whatever ring that they had, the you know, I forget what they called it, but it was not one that we are aware of in our
Yeah,
universe.
it's a fake
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah. And it turns out that like Archer has worn this ring for the past 6 years. So he's able to see like all of this data coming in and out. Elspeth tells Archer, like, I
Who was it?
come from a long line of centurions,
Yeah, centenarians.
centenary. So
I,
Archer's like, "Oh my gosh, let me, I would love to study you or love to, get to," because now he's like, "Oh, maybe Elspeth should be
yeah,
my body bag for lack of a better term."
he's trying to rope Elsbeth into the ring cult. He's like, I got to get you with my doctor. We got to study you. So let's get all your bio data so I can use you as maybe a another blood bag for me.
Yes. Yeah, and it turns out while Elspeth is looking at all of the things that are on Archer's like counter, he comes across something called calci calcino calcinate. Yes.
Calcinate. Yeah.
For transplants. This is used for transplants. So she tries to get Archer to like, she's like, your liver in her mind, but gets Archer to talk about his liver transplant. And he says that it came from his son Atlas, and he just loves Atlas
Atlas is such a good boy. He did this for me. I love him so much.
so much. And as is true in many a life, when you talk to Atlas, Atlas has a different story. Dad is in a midlife crisis. He's obsessed with health. Mom left. All of this stuff just because of the situation. But he did stick by the rules. He even like he stuck by Archer during this like divorce. He gave his dad blood, but then his dad wanted his liver. I'm like, this is definitely some six like form of cannibalization in some sort of way.
Mhm.
Archer accused Atlas of cheating on the protocol, so he left. And he's like, I don't want to be my dad's lab rat in any way, shape, or form. And turns out, I don't know, maybe because of genetics, that Atlas's liver wasn't good enough for Archer. So that's why he put his target on Tyler. Tyler was paid a lot. He used it to buy a trailer. And this was and because we needed to go into the trailer,
Yeah.
we needed to get a detective to go with Elsbeth, because this whole time Elsbeth's just running on her own. There's
I listen,
nothing
I
going
was
on.
like, at this point, I was like, are we just done with detectives now? Or we're just cutting everybody. It's just gonna be Elspeth working on her own. Maybe she'll have a cop with her. I was like, okay, now we get a detective involved. And
Yeah,
it's our best redemption story of the series, Detective Rivers.
it's true. I know. We'll talk about the reasons why River was put on the case in a minute, but he is put on the case and goes with Elsbeth to the trailer and finds Tyler's friend who had the wearable ring on like a necklace. Like,
Mhm.
oh, that's his. She tells the story about how they met in a yoga certification class. They met in another life, like they're soulmates. They're here. Um, but they only dated for 3.5 weeks until Tyler died, and the ring is all she has left, and the trailer of Tyler.
Yeah, and it makes it so it gives a lot more context of why Tyler may have been like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm kind of ready to live my life because he met this woman. I totally forgot the woman's name. He met this woman, and it's just like, hey, this like I want to like have fun with this girl, like so let me quit this like crazy ass job and spend more time with her.
Yes. Yeah. But she didn't really know much about Tyler's job because he didn't talk about it because he had the favorite defense of the 1%, an NDA.
Yeah. Ooh.
So Elsbeth brings this to Wagner, and Wagner's true form is not buying it. It's like killed for the liver or felt betrayed. It's just like both of these things. And Wagner asks for Rivers' thoughts, and Rivers agrees with Elsbeth, maybe.
Kind of sort of. He goes back and forth. He's like, yeah, this is true, but this is also true. It's like, okay, so you gave us nothing. Thank you, Rivers. Or nothing at all.
He's going through some things. We'll talk about it. He's going through some things. There was no autopsy, but there could be a way to make things look like a stroke. So they start investigating. They start thinking, like, what could make this happen? And they want to try and determine the cause of death going down that route. So Elsbeth, participating in this Live Forever study that Archer had asked her to be on, goes meet with the doctor, and he is basically doing what I call Star Trek medical science of just like waving a wand over her. And she can't keep quiet. She's very Elsbeth, as we would expect her to be. And this is, we learned in the opening that this doctor's office is actually in Archer's house.
Like, yeah, he's like, he has to be there every day to make sure things are administered correctly.
Yes, yeah, because we wouldn't want to get an infection in an IV. So she gets her own ring, as we were talking about earlier, and she has a cellular age of 35.
35. Elsbeth is like probably in her early 50s, I think.
Yes.
But her cellular age is 35.
Yes. Yeah, and Elsbeth starts training with Archer, and Archer's like super excited about this.
Well, Archer sees that she has a cellular age of 35. He's like, oh my god. He's like, oh, like he's something is happening within. He was like, I have to study you. You have to train with me. And he's like, it's also like, it's so surprising that you have the age of 35. Because I would have thought with all the hair dye, your age would be older. Everyone else was looking like, how dare you?
Well, that's the thing with these studies, right? Like it'll say like one thing happened for like 1% of whatever thing. And some people will take it and be like, oh, I can't dye my hair because this is going to happen. It's brought up later about red food dye. Red food dye, and I'm not saying that there is a lot of evidence about red food dye, but I don't think it's to a point that we have to change our lives about it. Mm-hmm. So during this training session, Elsbeth is very Elsbeth, and she lets it slip in a very Elsbethian way about the nightmares that everyone is having and the fact that Cord thinks that Tyler was murdered because of these nightmares. And then Archer gets concerned, and Elsbeth asks, like, have you had any nightmares here? Mm-hmm. Like, no, I gotta go. Get out, basically, was the response here.
Classic Elsbeth villain, villain Elsbeth tangle. Like, oh, I suspect you. He's like, all right, you have to go now. Bye.
So Elsbeth, again, in her very Elsbethian way, wants to know everyone around Archer. So she takes the new trainer,
Sven,
to get treats. Like basically, like I think it was like frozen yogurt or an ice cream place because they're like tasting, and he's like, this is the best strawberry I've ever had. And it's like strawberry ice cream. It's not actual strawberry. I at first didn't know where they were. And Archer, like, when I saw your locations together, I knew something had to be up. And they learned that the rings are like tracing their locations as well. Now, Elsbeth here then brings up the fact that Sven wanted to talk to Elsbeth because Elsbeth told Sven that she is a lawyer. I was like, I know you're a lawyer, but are you a lawyer? What are you right now? Like, tell me, what are you? Who are you?
She's a consent decree lawyer, Marissa, so she's still a lawyer. Okay.
Sure. Okay, fine. And so Sven was asking her questions about his employment contract, and basically it says in there that, as we were talking about, his organs belong to Archer if he dies. And this gets a question mark for Elsbeth. Like, if that was in Tyler's, like, what would have happened here?
Yeah, so he's Archer is learning. He's like, oh, I didn't do this for Ty, and I had to like surreptitiously get his liver or however I did this. So for going on forward, I'll just like make it so that all the people's livers, all the people's organs are all mine when they die. So I don't have to go through different routes. They already belong to me. It's like, damn, that is cold. That is so cold. Like, well, going forward, I think I'll just make it easier to get these organs. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't plan on doing this again. You've been doing this many more times.
And then, in true rich man fashion, Archer fires Sven on the spot for eating processed foods. Like, you've ruined it. You've ruined the protocol. That's it. I can't use you anymore. We do learn that Archer is indeed having nightmares. Like, we see one of these nightmares basically being like Ty coming at him with the syringe, doing the same
Mhm.
thing to him as he did to Tyler. And when he wakes up, Sven is still there. So obviously, good on Sven. Didn't take that firing real because, gotta pay rent.
Well, I mean, no, he's basically like, all right,
Oh,
well,
that's
you
it.
fired me,
Bye.
so I'm out of here. Bye. He's
I
like,
don't
bro,
know
you're
why he would
screaming.
wait until like the next day for that. Like, I don't know if they just needed that for the storyline of the nightmares. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So then Elsbeth shows Wagner Tyler's contract, and Archer had claim to Tyler's plasma. We had not graduated to all organs at this point.
Yeah.
It was just
Well, I think
plasma.
this was probably like when you're living, I have claim to your blood.
Yes.
Like your
Yes.
blood is my property now.
Yes. And Detective Nikki brings up the fact that Archer and Rivers bring up the fact that Archer has made his data available on his website like pretty much all of the time, except for 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
One time after Tyler's death, and the second time is when it was for 6 months.
When he got Atlas's liver, he got
Yes.
Atlas's partial liver, so he was offline for like a few weeks because a partial transplant you only are down for a few weeks. But after Tyler's full liver transplant, after he was dead, you need a longer recovery time. So that was like
6
6
whole
months.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So during this whole time, like Elsbeth's ring is beeping because she needs to do movement and she like didn't get her steps in. So she is on like a step around situation while Wagner is like taking this all in and he's like, okay, well, we have to break Archer's alibi then. Like this
Yeah.
seems a little bit like this could be. However, we need actual proof, which has been basically his role this entire season, is to say we need actual proof.
Yeah, viewers have been complaining that we don't look for actual proof, so I'm going to keep reminding you that we need actual proof to break this case. Also, the excuse for this episode to have Carrie Preston do some physical comedy is the exercising. Like we need to have some way for Elsbeth to do like something kooky and physical and oh, isn't she cute? Like look what she's doing.
How many jumping up and down? I can only imagine how many takes that all took. Like how much time she was actually jumping up and down.
It really makes me think of my wife like having to close her move ring. I'm just like, all right, like I gotta do this so my ring closes for the day.
Let me tell you, when Fitbit first came out, it would be like I have to walk around in circles in my kitchen because I have to beat my sister in this step race thing. And I think we've all graduated from that insanity at the moment. So Cord stops by while Elsbeth is doing her exercises to keep her ring up, and he is not good. He is lying awake thinking about Tyler dying, and Elsbeth gives him, the good old Elsbethian pep talk. And Cord is kind of scared at this point that his body is going to reject this heart just based out of everything that's been going on, even though Tyler's organs were great. And his heart was in such good condition. This gets Elsbeth thinking about Archer's long driveway, like in terms of how good his heart is.
Yeah, because Cord's like, when you take the heart, when you take a dead body, every second counts. So then Elsbeth's like, every second counts, eh?
Yes, yeah. So at home, Elsbeth is like doing her jumping. She's jumping on the couch. She's like doing all this stuff, and she notices that there's a software update issue, and so after the update, there's an update to their ages, and Archer freaks out because he is gaining years and Elsbeth is losing years.
Yep, and like this was apparently the aha moment that she needed.
Yeah.
she sees this update. She's like, "Ooh, there we go." And so, like the very next moment is like, "Oh, time to bust them. Here I am with the cops." And Archer does not freak out about the cops. He's just like, "Yeah, come on in." I guess he's so like, he is so down now. He's so run down about all this. He's just like, "Oh yeah, cops. I don't care. Come on in. Let's go." Yeah, whatever. He's not like, "What are you all cops doing here?" Because she shows up with like a squad.
Yeah.
She shows up with
Yeah.
Nikki, Rivers, a couple additional cops. She's like, "Yeah, come on in, whatever."
It's like in that, traditional triangle of showing up. Like there's someone
Mhm.
at the beginning with Elsbeth, and then she's like backed by a bunch of these people. And she has come with gifts. She brings frozen yogurt for Archer. He's like, I can't take it. I can't take it. Elsbeth does she talks about the ring, but she's like, I also like I don't think it's because I'm doing all of this stuff. I think it's because I just genuinely enjoy living. I enjoy life. I enjoy good food. I enjoy being around people. And that's what keeps her young. It's not 10,000 steps. It's not jumping up and down all of these times. It is that. Elsbeth then points out to Archer and the team, basically, that Tyler wanted out. He had love. He wanted more than this, and makes the parallel to the fact that that is exactly what happened with Archer's wife and Archer's son. Is they wanted out of this as well. This was kind of like a biohacking prison that he keeps the people in his life. So they determine that
Well,
the ring switch
basically,
happened.
yeah, basically they break down every single thing that Archer did. They break down every like, oh yeah, you switched the rings, you waited for the software update. You did all they call exactly what happened. But like as I was saying earlier, like they said it was weird because right before Tyler's death, your age apparently went all the way down to 22 and his age went to 31. That's weird, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they also bring up the fact that like the ambulance was brought to Archer's house, like, but and Archer or the killing happened at Archer's house, and he made the call when the ambulance would be as close as possible to preserve the integrity of the
The
liver.
organs. Yeah. And well he, I guess so what he's saying is he waited to actually kill Tyler until the ambulance was close.
Yeah, he like
Like,
made the call and then did the kill and then
well, the ring made the call technically. So
that's
he
right.
waited he waited to put the ring on like right before he needed to because he wanted to keep those organs nice and fresh for use
Which
later.
for him also good, but also, worked out for everyone else.
Yeah, true, very true.
Thing, you know. And before he goes, after he's arrested, before he goes, Elspeth's like, "You could just try the frozen yogurt." Like, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, I kind of want to see I kind of want to like see next season where we see Archer like we have to visit Archer in prison for some reason. And he's gotten a lot bigger like because he's like he doesn't care about the food anymore because he had that froyo. He's like, oh my god, this is so good. So like now he's gonna be like he's gonna go all the way to the other extreme of like just he can't stop eating this
Indulgence.
processed food. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what ended up with this. We did have a nice little, ending to this case where Cord meets with Anna, Tyler's girlfriend, and she thanks him for pursuing the truth. And there's a moment which I see in a lot of organ donation stories of like, let me listen to the heart. I think some people even like record the heart and put it into a teddy bear. Like it's very sweet. And Anna recognizes that this is Tyler's heart. She's like, that's Tyler. And Wagner is looking on emotionally.
yes.
So that is what happens with the case. Anything before we talk about the relational update in this episode
Um,
as well?
no, I mean I think the main case was interesting. I thought it was interesting like avenue to explore. I thought we could have done a little more with it, but good case for the most part.
What did we think about the news that came from Rivers saying that he and Julia broke up?
Boy, that was fast, wasn't it? That was like that
Yeah.
was a relationship that's like one episode. Yeah,
It
so I
was
was like
so
I was
many
kind of
weeks,
surprised.
though. So many weeks because we
Oh
weren't
yes,
there. Yeah,
yes,
so many.
yes. So many weeks. So yeah, it was interesting because Wagner is like, hey, like at first he's like suspicious of River. He's like, why is my daughter canceling a bunch of lunch dates with me? And River's like, oh yeah. Rivers is depressed. Rivers like, oh, yeah, we broke up. So she's probably avoiding me, which is why she doesn't want to come to the precinct to have lunch with you. Wagner's like, oh, that's crazy. That's weird.
He's also like, I'm not happy about it, but also that sucks. But also, I'm not happy about. You know what I mean? Like he was
Mhm.
definitely like, oh, okay.
It's like,
Um,
oh, that's terrible, but they're more fish in the sea.
so
Oh. And like he turns around, he's like, yes. It's like does the fist bump, like, all right, my daughter dumped his ass.
and so he finally does meet with Julia, and Julia says, "Hey, Rivers was too obsessed with earning your approval. Like that's I should have known never to date anyone in your precinct because
Mhm.
everyone's going to want to try to, not only have the pressure of, getting dad's approval, but also getting the captain's approval." And this kind of sits with Wagner a little bit.
Yeah, at least softens Wagner to Rivers. He's like, oh, like he really wants to impress me. He wants to make sure that I know that I think he's doing a good job. So this is really the turning point in the Rivers redemption story, like the official teal turn from numbskull to a good guy. Just wants to do his best for me in the precinct.
Which leads Wagner to put him on the case with Elsbeth and then later even invite him to have scotch. I was
Yeah,
very surprised by this. I was like, are they buddies now? Like, what's going on? So that is the news in the Wagner house. We also had some news in the Elsbeth department as well.
this is probably the most like inducing
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
development of this episode.
So we do see that Elsbeth and Alec are having dinner at what I assume to be the Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe. Yep, yep. That was the same parallel I drew. Like this looks like a Rainforest Cafe stitch.
Of something. And apparently they like going places where people sing to them while they're eating. So they
Well,
ask
they both like show tunes. They both probably like these
sure.
restaurants that they're used to having like singing servers. And so they try like, all right, yeah, server, go ahead and sing for us. She's like, oh, we don't do that here. Like that's not a here thing.
We don't do that. But later I'm gonna slip you a flyer for something that I'm in if you really want to come see me. But
Bruh.
like don't
It was a One Tree
which
Hill parody play or whatever. I'd go to that. I was a One Tree Hill fan. I would see that. I would go to that.
Alec is happy to be here without Marissa, which I thought was interesting. And
Yeah.
he's like happy to be alone, but also I could tell there was like some genuine relief there.
And we're not happy to be here without Marissa. That's for
No,
sure.
no. Elspeth does bring up the fact that Subway Pete has dementia and basically is like, is there a real Subway Pete? Like, this isn't the Subway Pete that you told me. She was like, basically like, I'm so captivated by that story and it turned out not to be true. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, she basically calls him out for everything. Like, okay, you said that was Subway Pete. That was not Subway Pete. Was there Subway Pete? And also, Wagner cannot find proof that you were in the house. So
Yeah.
she lays out everything for Alec, and it's like, what's up, bro? What's going on? I was like, oh, we're like getting right to the point. And Alec lays out a pretty good guilt trip on her.
Like the landlord kept the name on the lease to help me stay in school, and I don't remember because my life was so hard back then. Like it's really hard for me to remember stuff. Also, I'm just a people pleaser, so when Pete came up I was like, yeah, you're Pete. And also, like, why are you questioning me about this?
It's like, I didn't think I have to explain this to you, Elsbeth. I didn't think you would be questioning me like this. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. It seems to kind of work.
Yeah, it does. But he does say, of course, there was a Subway Pete. We just don't know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
In another scene, we have Teddy talking at a restaurant cafe with his boss, and he's basically like any good millennial, am I fired? Is his first response. And his editor's like, no, but we are gonna take you off the Alex story because I didn't know your mom was dating Alec. And Teddy's like, excuse me, what? Excuse me, what? And then the editor goes on to say Marissa called complaining about the Pete story and how it like basically injured his image. And Teddy's like, what?
Yeah, Teddy's very confused. Like, Marissa did that? Like, yeah, he says that as if like he and Marissa are good friends. I was like, I don't know what's transpired between Marissa and Teddy. He was like, Marissa did that to me? Oh no, I don't think she would do that. But
Like,
yeah, this does get him thinking. Like, is she hiding something? Like, what the heck is going on?
yeah, yeah. And then later in the episode, at the end of the episode, Teddy goes to his mom's. He's like, hey, what's going on with this? this is what happened. Marissa called my editor, all this stuff. And Elspeth is like, it's not what you think. He's here. And Teddy just continues going. And like, wait, what? He's what? Alec comes walking down the stairs in just a towel.
Bruh. So they banged it out, assumably, which really confuses me. Because I was just like, I thought we were trying
Alec
to
was the bad guy.
I thought we were trying to bust Alec. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? What's going on? Alec is like, how, my question, like, Alec's a bad guy, right? He has to be a bad guy. He really does have to be a bad guy. My question is, how is Elsbeth, who has the most like intuition of anyone in the world, conned by Alec? Or is there something else going on? Because I don't think she'd have sex with Alec if she thought Alec was a bad guy.
And also, what is up with Marissa?
Yeah. Is Marissa the big bad here? Like, what is that? What's happening?
I can't handle it if it is.
Did Marissa hire Alec to do this stuff? To like control the mayor?
I have no idea.
Huh. I'm so confused. I am really curious about what's going on here because I think we thought we had a good handle on what was happening here. We thought Marissa was the good person that was trying to bust Alec when she realized who Alec was, and she had enlisted Elsbeth in her crusade to bust Alec. But now I'm just all over the place. I don't know what's happening now.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very confusing. I don't know, and also I don't want to think about the fact that Marissa could and Elsbeth could be working against. Like, I was so excited to see that team up.
Mm-hmm. And Marissa was like, "You are the only person that can save the city of New York." Like, what did that mean?
You are Batman.
Yeah, what did that just mean? Like, you have to date Alec because you're so cool that will really improve his Q rating? Is that what she meant? I don't know. I'm confused.
We shall see.
Gotta see how they land this plane.
Shall see. Yeah, basically, Rivers and Wagner are BFFs, and Alec and Elsbeth are banging it out. That's
our FBs.
Yes, our FBs.
Also, where's Kaya? Where is Kaya?
Kaya? Yeah.
Ugh. Where is Kaya? Hashtag
is she still?
Where's Kaya?
I mean, I hope she's okay.
She's still being tortured at the docks?
Yeah, exactly. We had questions of her safety based on what we saw last time we saw her.
Mm-hmm. And there's that missed phone call. She didn't pick up the phone. We knew she was kind of caught when she was talking to Elsbeth. What's up? What's going on? Come on now.
I don't know.
So yeah, that was our episode. Elsbeth's back, folks. I don't know if we're getting another break or we go on 9 episodes straight through. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
I'm not sure either.
But we'll be here for the episodes.
Yes.
Marissa, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you're up to now.
Yeah, you can find me at itsmemarissag.com, where I have links to all of the stuff. If you would like to join us on our Elsbeth and Good Wife coverage, like if you're only listening to Elsbeth and you want to come over to the Good Wife, there is a crossover character in this week's coverage. So it's always fun to watch these 2 shows together because you never know when you see something like that. I should say crossover actor, not a crossover
not
character. Yeah. Just like we had in this Elsbeth episode as well. You can find links to our YouTube there as well. If you are looking for just Elsbeth coverage, we have our own playlist for just Elsbeth, and we have our own playlist for just The Good Wife over there. So check it out. There's also links to my podcast on Whirlwind Podcast Network called Previous Little Liars, where we are watching Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. And then otherwise, you can catch me and my sister talking about Star Trek The Next Generation on our podcast, The USS Sisterhood. Jason, we talked a little bit about what you're covering while we were covering this episode, but you want to give people the full rundown of where people can find you?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Love is Blind is in full swing. Me, Asia Welch, and Mary Krokowski are talking about it over on the Rob Has a Podcast Network on the Love at First Sight feed. So just type in Love at First Sight and you will find our coverage. Episodes 10 and 11, we just did our coverage of those. So coming up, the wedding episode will be talked about, and then the reunion, and then the season's over. So come check it out if that's something that you're into. Love is Blind. You can also hear me and Asia talk about the show Married at First Sight over on Patreon at the Perfect Match podcast. We were talking about season 10. Since there's no new season out currently, we just talk about old seasons over there on Patreon. So you can come and check that coverage out. If you're also into Married at First Sight, if you're into Love is Blind, you will definitely be into Married at First Sight. They are definitely spiritual cousins of shows. You can also find me talking about the Traitors finale this week over on the Altar Call podcast with our friend Tane. Interesting season, a really good season, I think. So me and her talked about the finale episode over on her podcast, Altar Call. And yeah, of course, as Marissa mentioned, check us out on the Good Wife side of this podcast as well. That's it for me. That's it for Marissa. Until next time, stay good.